Hi, welcome to MetaPercept. Thanks for joining. My name is Challa Prabhu, and in this session, I'm going to talk about understanding Madcap Flare user interface. So this is very important because there are many panels which one has to know where those menus are there and where are those folders are there before they begin working with Madcap Flare. So what are we going to cover in this particular topic? I'll be covering on key components, that is Content Explorer and Project Manager, user interface, the toolbars, structure bar and span, publishing, text editor, that is the conditional indicator and image thumbnail, snippet condition, conditional expression, style sheet, that's simplified and advanced. Is Madcap Flare application a data authoring tool? So that's a question that we're trying to discuss at the end of this particular presentation. So before I begin this, let me go to the Madcap Flare and see the interface of that particular application. So this is the interface. So on the left hand side, bottom, if you see, I've got Content Explorer and Project Organization. As a user of Flare application, you will be often using these two panels. One for creating the topics as well as trying to reuse certain components within the topic. So let me just describe what is there in the Content Explorer. Content Explorer gives you a list of topics that you create. If you create around 10 to 20 topics, they all reside in Content Explorer. But you also have the resource a folder which is very important in Content Explorer. So whenever you work on anything, whenever you work on any topic and someone says that you have to create a page layout, you have to create a branding or snippet or style sheet or table styles, you should know under which panel it is. Okay, because it becomes very confusing initially when you work in Madcap Flare as to where those options are available. So keep in mind that a resource folder is very important in Content Explorer. So even if you don't have those folders inside this, you can still go and create those folders. For example, in the Content Explorer, if I have a resource, if I right click and say new, I'll still get all these particular topics which you can create. You can create a page layout, you can create template page or snippet page, micro content, image, multimedia, style sheet, branding style sheet and table style sheet. Why I'm saying this? Because even if you are creating a new project without using any of the templates that are provided by the factory settings, you can still go and use this particular branding style sheet. Okay. So Madcap by default gives you certain brandings based on the template that you choose, but then still, even if you do not want those branding settings, you can come here and use this. This is not quite often used, but I'm telling you that these are the available features and functionality and capability that Madcap Flare provides you in the Content Explorer. So what will happen if I come here and say new and then probably say that I want to create a snippet, then this is a dialog box that comes to you. That is called the file type. This is the add file dialog box. On the top you have the file type. So these are a list of file types that are available for you. Okay, and then here it is snippet is a file that I want to create, so that I want to reuse that across all the topics in the future. So I create the snippet, and then in the below, if you see, I've got a folder. So by default, it tells me that a folder, it will be this particular file that I'm going to create will be stored under the resource folder. Okay, so I have to come here and give a name. So for example, I'll give you 4, and then I say add. You can see that it is added in the new snippet 4 folder. Okay, I should have seen it, but then it's okay. Okay, so it is there. I just forgot to do this. Fine. Now I'm coming to the project organizer. Project organizer is very important because there are a few folders which are very important here. One is the advanced tag, advanced folder, the conditional text folder, the destination folder, export folder, import folder, reports, skin, target, and TOC and variables. These are very important because you would like to use resources from the external to the project. And you will also try to bring files as a global project linking from a different folder outside the project. Then second, you will also have an advanced, where if you click on the advanced, you will know that you can create a browse sequence, you can create a index link, alias file, header file. So these are for context based files. Okay. So if you are getting a project where you want to develop a context based files, then you have to go to this particular folder, right click and create a alias files and header files. Then you create a relationship table, add file tag and meta file tag, and auto suggestions list file. So why do you need this auto suggestion? Because in case when you type in the editor, there are certain names that matches in the variable list or any other. It will automatically displace you and say which one you want to choose. Okay, it will suggest you basically like when you go to google.com and type something in the search, based on the characters that you type, Google suggests you what is the list of available matching result. So you can choose from one of those matches, or you could still ignore it if the suggestion is not matching to your request. Then there's a conditional text. This is very important. So I'll talk to that about it later. So but you have a conditional tag set. Okay, so this is like you are going to create those tag set. Then you've got destination. I've created new destination 1, new destination 2. What is it? It is a destination folder where you want to publish the content. Say when you create a table of contents, for example, when you create a table of content, for example, you have the list of files available for you. So these are the files that you want to generate as an online help. Okay, but then what you do is you then try to generate the output for it. Let me do that so that I'll tell you why. Okay, now I can come to the file, see, and then I can say generate. I can build the HTML5. If you see below, you'll see the start time, target, project, status, build progress, and compile status. So what does it actually do now is trying to build, or probably it is trying to generate an output file for me, output for HTML5. So this is needed because if I want to later on publish it, I need to first generate it. Remember that. Keep it this in mind that whenever you want to publish it, you have to generate the output. Without generating the output, you will not be able to publish it. Now the build is complete. Now if you see in the build, under the build section, clear finishes, view output is disabled, open build is disabled, stop build is disabled, open output folder is displayed, and clean target is displayed. So these are disabled because unless until you go and click on that particular row of which build you actually want, only then it will be highlighted for you. Okay. Now I'll come and double click on it. This is the build. This is the output it has generated for me. Okay. I'm creating a destination location so that after generating the build, I have to publish it. So I have to know where I need to publish. Okay, so where is the destination and what are the type of servers that I can use in Madcap Flare. I'll come and right click on destination, click add destination and give you a name called new destination, maybe 3 here. And if you see the file type destination, I'll say add. So the moment I finish the moment I added it to the destination folder, this is the destination editor that is available for me. Now I have to tell what type of destination, whether I want the destination to be an FTP server, or it is a source control system, or it is Madcap Connect for Salesforce, Madcap Connect for Zendesk, Madcap connect for ServiceNow or JLM Syndicate. So these are the type of a destination where I can go. So if I come and say that FTP, I need a FTP server, and then this I should provide the host name and the connection mode, whether it is passive or whether it's active. Then the directory, the connection string, and all the login credentials. Once I give the login credentials, I'll be in a position to get connected to the server. So then what happens when I come here and double click on this particular, if I come and double click on this new name destination, so thereafter, after specifying the destination for destination server and the credentials, I'll come to the HTML and go to the target editor. Here I'll come to the general and see that my output type is going to be HTML5, and then the print, the online is HTML5, the print is PDF, or others is clean XHTML, Eclipse, EPUB, and all this. These are going to be the output type. But now it is just going to be HTML5 as primary. Then again, if you see the startup type as home.htm, the home.htm is the file that is available in the Content Explorer. If you look at if you go to the Content Explorer, there is a file called htm.file. This is the file that I am telling the Madcap Flare to open it after the build is complete. Okay, so don't think that the HTML file is giving you a path which is home.htm. This is a file which is going to be the startup topic for you. The primary TOC is going to be which one, whether you want to use online or you want to use a PDF. What is the type of TOC? Because we have two TOC, okay? One is primary and other one. Then what will be the primary style sheet? Because you also have a style sheet. We'll be talking about this after some time. Okay, so these are very important. And second, we are going to also talk about skin later on. So we are in project owner there. After that, we have got imports. Imports a new import file, because when I create, for example, if I click on the properties of this, if I double click on the import file, it's going to tell you where is the source project. You have to specify the source project, because I'm going to bring some information which is from a global project linking, which means, for example, your project manager has got a project and he has also got certain resources which he wants to share that resources to other technical writers for their respective projects. So I will go and connect to that particular project called the source project. Okay, then I am tell you that what are the projects I need to be included. Click here. It will what are the projects I want to include, to bring it from the source location to my location. So I would choose what all I need. What are the pages I need, micro content, style sheet, whichever one I need from there. Okay, I may not need all the files, but I want the style sheet, because I want to link that particular main style sheet from my parent project to the child project. Then also said exclude, means because there are so many files here, I may probably have all that is listed here, but certain things I don't need. Okay, by default it might bring everything inside, but I can just say, okay, I don't need this particular file, micro content, so that will be excluded from this. So this way you will try to import bring the files inside. Okay, there are import conditions you can also apply. Then you can say imported file and remove links. So this is the main part of it. This is the main part. So whenever you go and publish, or whenever you just go and generate an output, it will be pushed to that location after you do a publish. Okay, so if I see this import file, when I double click on this import, you will see the source project. So source project. The source project is the actual project from where I would like to bring certain contents into my child project, which is called as a project which is specific to me. Okay, so if I have 10 projects and I want to bring something from a parent project to a child project, I will use this import. Remember that. And thereafter what happens is this particular source file, this is the source file from where I want to bring. Second thing is I also want to include certain files. So I do not want to bring everything from the parent project inside my child project. I only want to bring the style sheet inside this. I only want to reference a particular style sheet information so that I can use that. Or probably I can bring some images inside this. Or I can bring some topics inside this. I also have to bring some video, all that stuff. So that in just bringing a topic or a micro content or will not work. Okay, just bring a topic file inside HTML inside this child project may not work because it may also have certain snippets. Also might have some page layout related information, so that at the time of rendering an output or generating an output, it will probably would look at those particular page. Then it also might need the style sheet because the current project is referring to a style sheet which is external to the particular child project. So I have to bring that. And also specify this particular image files. Otherwise, my topic which I have brought from the parent project will be empty. It will never have any. It will never have any images in that. So therefore, I have to bring all those images inside. So I can say all. I can just say you bring all the files inside. At the same time, I can also say you bring all, but you just exclude which I don't need. That's the best way of saying, because when I say that I don't need a snippet file, just see here, then I can come again and say I don't need the GIF file. Okay, I don't need this particular file alone. So then in that case you can include and exclude before you bring that particular files inside. Next one is a report. In this report, you can get a report of all that you have used in this project. For example, the images that you have you can just say what are the undefined. You can get a list of the reports of all the file tags, the undefined styles, meta tags, because there are so many styles that are there. But it give a detail about what are the styles that you have not used in your project. Okay, the conditions that you might have a condition tag of 10 items, 10, but you might probably be using only 2. One is for online and one is for print, but you would not have used for EPUB and many other output devices. Then you also have used items, so you can get a list of all the used items, which is the opposite of the undefined items, and then you can also have a generated report. So let me see, I'll just right click on this import, just come and say like what type of import I want to do. It will be add a flat project import. Remember that. This is what is very important. When I say add project import, not anything else. Okay. Don't go and just say import any other file. It has to be add flare project import. Remember that, because you are using because you may not be knowing when you want to use some external resources. So here I said all this. Fine. Now this is what is the project import editor. You go and give all the details and then go and save the file. Now comes the skin. The skin is going to be the navigation part of it. So you might have, so for example, if you see the output that I generated, you had a different skin on the top. Okay, you can customize the skin. You can also go and change the color. You can also change the search locations. You can also change the panes from left to top navigation, left navigation. Now how do you want that to be? Or you can choose some corporate branding and all this stuff. That is called as skins. Okay, so this is basically used for navigation purposes. So now what I'll do, I'll just click on that skin, side navigation skin, and see what does it have to offer me. One thing is I'll go and set up this. Okay, so when I go and set up the navigation, what it says is there's the navigation, but I want the main menu position on the left. Okay, that's what I said. No, I was navigating on the left hand side. Just like I'm seeing the project organization on the left hand side, I have the output which has got a navigation on the left. Then here I'll come and say this is skin ID. But now here what happens is there are a couple of things also that is here. Okay, we have micro content, because remember this word at least once, because this is the very important thing. Why I'm saying is, in case if I go to a search engine, okay, and just say that I want to talk about 365, because let us see when I give this, what happens. I get something like this, right? What did I get here? I got something on the left hand side and some on the right hand side. Okay, so they are all micro content. For example, you have to understand, I'm going to use one more word that is called as a featured snippet. So I've got three things which I spoke to you now. One is the destination folder. Your destination folder, you can publish to a destination folder only when you generate the output build. Second, I spoke to you about telling that a table of contents. Okay. Third is this particular thing called as import, where you will import the file inside from an external import from an external source. Now here when I said Microsoft 365, I've got two pane, one is on the left and the right. They are called featured snippets. So I've said it's featured snippet. So they are also a reusable component. And also I'm also use this word called micro content. That's what we are going to create micro content to view like the feature snippet in Google. So basically here what we are trying to do is to understand what are the capabilities and features of this application from the project organization and the Content Explorer pane. So here when I come here, because this is a side navigation, okay, and when I say it is a side navigation, it's an online help. Okay, the online help is going to use this particular skin. In that case, I'm going to use a master template. I'm going to use a template. I'm going to use proxies. For example, I'm going to use breadcrumbs. I'm going to use a mini TOC. I'm going to use some buttons, and also I'm going to use a proxy. In the below, if you see, I've got a FAQ proxy, knowledge proxy, and promotion proxy. These are proxies which may probably be there. They also be used in micro content, which is called a feature snippet view mode. Okay, so I can tell you how you want it to be displayed as a plain text, drop down or truncated, which means I don't want. Okay, now here in the micro content option, I've got feature snippets view mode, which I say whether you want to get truncated, plain text or drop down. At the same time, for knowledge panel, I've got a truncated, plain text or drop down. So now we have not associated any topic to both feature snippets as knowledge panel as what needs to be displayed here, because that depends on what search query that you are giving. So what will happen if that search query matches the feature snippet in the knowledge panel? You will get something like this. You will get something similar to this. This is called a feature snippet because on the left hand side you got show more button. Okay, and it's got an image on the side. It also has something on the right hand side. So if I press this, the feature snippet will show you more information. It get truncated. I'll show you. This is a good example for feature snippet, and it's similar to micro content in Madcap layer. This is the actual thing I want to show you. So in the left hand side, if you see in the target, I've got primary. In the target editor, if you see, there is a tab called publishing. So since I've already created a destination file, if you see that's the third one on the top, I have already specified that it is a FTP, and I have also given some target destination, and I use the Elastic Search as a destination for search engine, and then these are the information that I have provided to it. So the moment I go and click publish here, okay, when I say publish, my output, which is generated output, will now go to this particular server. If we say build, all the topics which you have aligned hierarchically in the table of contents for online will be generated into a HTML5 output. Okay, this is very important. Now, if you are a first-time user, you will see that HTML5 is there and online primary. Now, where did this primary come from? Because this is also a target, and you can also say that this is also a style sheet. If you see, there is something called primary also in style sheets and table style sheets. So how do you actually get this? If you go to the project, and click on project properties, you will get this particular thing. Okay. So here by default, my primary style sheet is going to be styles. So this is a primary styles. Okay, and the source control I have not given this bind. If I give this bind and click on this, it is going to give me like which one do you want to bind it to, this publishing. So you can even publish it now at the moment. You can go and say whether you want to do it to the whether you want to bind it to the Microsoft Team Foundation server, Subversion, JIT, or Perforos. So this also you can bind the project to this particular source control system. Okay, and similarly when you come to view, you also have a source control explorer here, and that is a source control explorer here, and you've got Madcap Central. So you can also use all these servers, create a destination folder and connect to them, or you can just click on this Madcap, you click on this Madcap Central, and then you can log in, give the credentials, and just then try to publish your information in there. Now, the one more thing which I want to tell you is, if in case, see, your hierarchy of the output, hierarchy of the TOC is similar to the hierarchy of the files in the server also. So whenever you generate an output, using the TOC here, and the target is based on the target that you want to, the targeted file will show you that it is created locally in the Madcap Flare application. But because these particular files are synchronized to the server, which I've probably specified before. So if you generate an output from your server, then you are going to get a link which says that this particular output has been generated from this particular Madcap Central. So by looking at the generated thing, you can know whether it was generated in Madcap Flare application at the desktop level, or whether it has been generated from the Madcap Central server level. This is publishing output. So here if you see this is a target, so I'm using from project organizer. I'm coming and saying that okay, I want to publish it here, publish 5.0, where if you have to generate your output, first you have to build, then you have to publish it. Okay, so you can't directly publish it without generating an output if you're not generating even once. Now we'll come to variables. So there's a concept called variables in a Madcap Flare. What is variables? Variables are brief pieces of text such as product name or date. Cannot contain formatting, tables or images, which means variables are just a piece of information. It will not contain images, tables or any formatting. Just for example, I can say the product name as name, and the definition will be Microsoft, or it could be Adobe, Madcap Flare, or Adobe or Madcap Flare, or Madcap Mimic, Adobe FrameMaker, anything for the matter. Okay, so, but it will be just a product name or a date. If you want to have some formatting, if you want to have some formats of a particular date, or you want to insert the date so that whenever the document is generated, you get the system date onto the particular document, then you can use that particular date. Date is a variable because and what happens, it can be inserted in one or more topics. So you can just reuse it, okay? I can very well say that if the name of the project is going to be like for example, MetaPercept, okay? And that's been imported in every document in each and every topic. And suddenly they say tomorrow that it has to be some MetaPercept, some other MTR, about that some new product name along with that. When they go and change it in one place, it will automatically reflect all the occurrences in that particular project. That's why I use variables. Okay, now let me show you. Here in the project organizer, you got a folder called variable. In this variable, you got a general. When I click on the general, it shows me the variable set editor. Remember this word called variable set. Even when you go to conditional formatting, conditional text is the name of the folder. But when you come and create a new one, when you double click this default, it is going to say as a conditional tag set editor. Okay, remember that. Don't because tomorrow you might get probably some questions related to this, so that you'll be in a position to find out what is a conditional text, or what is a conditional tag set, and things like that. Okay. Now this is the one called a user guide. Now what did I do here is, This is called as the name and the definition. It is called as a company name, company definition. Now I got a user guide title, this particular product user guide. And here, if you see, I've got a product guide title 3 because I got this add variable definition. So I want to tell, okay, this is a user guide, product user guide. So if I come to a document and insert a user guide, I can just enter that particular user guide. But there are certain situations, occurrences where and just the product name is the same across. Product name is a variable which is there on all the documents that I want to print. But at the runtime, I want to change the definition of it. Which means that if I print this particular document, first document I want to print it as product guide. The second one I print, I want to print it as maintenance guide. The third one when I print, I want to print it as reference guide. But the name of the variable is going to be user guide title. I can have multiple variable definitions. That is very important for you, and I'll also show you how that particular thing is done. Okay, this is a variable thing. So I can come here and say I want to add a new variable. I'll come here and say, okay, this is called as the company name. Okay, I'll just say this is the company name. Company. I'll come here and say this is Madcap. Now they say that okay, we have two companies, so I would like to also have one more name along with it. So I'll select this, come here and say that I want to add a variable definition. So if you see that company is repeated, but here it's different. Probably he says that I would like to have something called a TechCom or something. Okay, I'm just giving you this as an example, so feel free and to understand the exact terminologies that Madcap Flyer is trying to use here. Okay, we are only trying to understand the application, the software, and appreciate the potentiality of that application. Nothing else beyond that. So if you see this, I got company, Madcap, company, and TechCom. Now it is up to me what variable I want to use at the runtime. Okay. So I showed you how to create a variable, and now I'll go back to snippet. Now what is snippet? See, a snippet is a sort like a miniature topic, right? So you want something, some topic that you want to repeat it across all the output. For example, there are 3 technical writers. For them, the procedure of that particular task may be same. So they say that okay, we would like to share that particular portion of our content from that particular technical writer's document. Thereafter, if anything changes, the owner or the person who is responsible for that particular content will change that and will automatically reflect in all the technical writer's content, the topic. That is called a snippet. Okay, so snippet is a small miniature topic. It could be, but a snippet could be a table, it could be an image, it could be text, it could be probably a whole topic itself. Okay, so that's up to you. So and can be inserted into one or more topics. So what I create a snippet file and then I open a new topic, I drag and drop that particular snippet inside. Okay, so that's it, finished. That means I can drag and drop to n number of topics, and all this will refer to the source file called snippet. So where did the snippet come from? If I come to the Content Explorer and go to this particular resource folder and snippet, then you have the snippet file. Okay, so I'm just trying to demonstrate you how to use all these features which will help you work more efficiently. Okay, so this one thing, and it can be inserted in one or more topics. It can be inserted in one or more snippets. Correct, because see, I can have a snippet and I can also insert one more snippet within a snippet. I don't want to make things much complicated, but I'll just stick to one snippet now. It can be a block or inline or a text. So whenever I say it's a block, okay, and inline means it could be as inline within some other topic. Inline means whenever the content is deleted or added, the snippet will move accordingly based on the insertion and deletion of content. Now I'll show you how the snippet is added. Okay. Now I've opened a file name called feature1.htm. Now I want to use a snippet here. The snippet is actually there in probably, let me double click on this and what is there in this? There's something called combination. I can also insert some image. or a table. Okay, I've got some, so I'll just say yes. Okay, so this is a snippet I have. I just go and save it. Now I just come to the feature sorter. I'll just have to drag and drop it here. Let's come inside, right? Just watch me very carefully because some people get confused here. This is snippet. So if I cannot do anything because it's a snippet. So if I want to change anything, I'll come back to this particular file and just change here. So why did I say meta when I click why it said say why did it give this a dialog box? Because this is auto suggestion. Yeah, this particular thing has been declared as a variable now before you for the company. So the moment I typed that, it automatically gave me the suggestion. So I could probably go and say okay. I gave and said okay. So you must be very clear about a variable and snippet. Variable is just only will hold a text. It will only hold text. Please for your kind information, I'll just go back to the slide again. I'll tell you that it only will hold a product name or date. It will not contain tables and images. Whereas snippet can contain text, tables and images. Okay, this is a fundamental difference in that. Now coming to the condition. So what is this condition? Conditions are markers that can be applied to text, paragraph, hyperlink, tables, columns, rows, and images. Don't always have an effect. Means just by just applying a condition, nothing is going to change. Need a tag expression include or exclude? Of course, it needs because, for example, if I have this particular one which you are seeing here, and I say that okay, I'm writing a document for mobile devices as well as for PC. So if I have a link, I want to tell the user that you go and click on that. Okay, if he's going to view on the laptop, but if the person is going to use on the mobile, then I want to tell him to go and tap because he's going to use his finger now. Then these are the two conditions that I have to set in that particular document. So I'll set a tag condition that include this and exclude this. So I'll say include this for online help and exclude this for print, or include this in print and exclude this for online help. That's a play of telling that include and exclude. Okay, are incredibly powerful but not always easy because the more conditions you have, it's the author who is going to take the decision as to what need to be included and what need to be excluded and what type of mediums. Mediums means what type of output he is considering for this particular content to be as a target. So what is condition? Condition means like whenever I create a topic, there are three types I can use the condition. One is when I come to the Content Explorer, I can very well click on this and then say properties and go to condition text and say this folder introduction topic like from getting started, more, snippet and what's new is only for print only. Okay, so now you see that red one. If you see the red one, that's been applied to that one single checkbox, which means I need not necessarily have to put the checkbox for all the four things because it is the very first folder, the introduction to topics. But if I say that I want to have this also, only this particular topic, that I want to go to properties and go to conditional text and say that this is for print only. Now say OK. Just see, you will see that there is only one checkbox which is red. So red is for print, right? So look, you have to understand by looking at the Content Explorer and the project, there's a lot of information that the application would like to convey to you. Okay, thereafter once you have the confidence, then you go inside creating the content. Okay, so by this, the red thing is a folder I just want to make it as for print only. Here then I made an individual file that I want to be print only. So now whenever I have a TOC and if I have this particular topic in that particular TOC, it won't generate for screen or online. It will only be seen in the print only. Okay, so now Next one is I can also apply conditions by selecting inside the content. I say this particular content is not for this, so I'll come back here and say I want to apply the condition here. Now still I can go and say this only for print only, and I can say okay. So this particular thing will become, you see that, okay? So be careful so that the consistent is not close by, and then you give proper space, because sometimes it so happens that when you put the conditional text, there is no space between the adjacent characters. So now looking at this, you know that a color that I have given some conditional text. Now here I've got this particular web layout where I can say show me what is the print layout. So if I say that it's going to give me that particular print layout. Now here I'll come here and say show me this the print in the preview PDF. So you can also have this preview PDF even before you actually generate it. Okay, now let me move this. So you say that Lauren from some, okay, and it goes directly to color. Okay, then that becomes for the publishing place. So it comes here for printout. Had I generated this for online help, I'll get a different output without that particular thing. So here in this interface, for your kind information, you have got a condition, you got a preview HTML and HTML without building and publishing, right? Without building and publishing, you can just view immediately what is the status of that. Since I said I want it to be, if I want to say I want to be for a HTML file, it's going to quickly go and generate it and show me that particular value. Now, if that particular word which I used for the particular word which I used will be applied for that. I have to save that. Always keep that if I save. If I don't save, then nothing will get updated. Okay, this is one. Now, there's a lot of things we learned from this. We also learned something called snippet just now, and then we have this style snippet. So from this particular slide, what we come to know is we can also have conditions. You can use the conditions for target. I can say this particular one is for the HTML output, and the other one is for the PDF output, and I can generate the output accordingly. Now the question comes is I'm combining condition and snippet. So what is it? Condition snippet and condition variable and all that. Let me go back to the Madcap flare again. Now we know this is a snippet, but you don't know where the snippet is in this particular snippet folder. That I have some 5 snippets. I can just come here, right click, I can come here. Where is the snippet? Now, if you have included any snippet in your file, and you do not know where that particular file is or which snippet is it, you can come right click it, and you can just say that you can just say like open the snippet file. Okay, when you say open the snippet file, it will open the snippet file. So which is called as new snippet 1.ffp. So you can just go and change this to some and save. Come back to feature.1. You'll see it's London again here. So also I would like to tell you that if I come to the table of contents, if I come to the TOC, okay, this is very important because it's part of the user interface. So in case if I come here and say okay, I want to find out project, right? If I say that I want to find where it is in the project locator, I can just go and say like locate in the Explorer, just show me that it is here. Similarly, if I come here to Explorer and say that okay, show me where it is in the TOC, then probably it is not there, but it's there in the other one path. So I can just go and say okay, Oh, it's not because it is for online help, right? So I don't want to do that. I will come back to FAQ. Similarly, I can come to feature one, right click, and say, okay, locate me the TOC. It is going to show me that it's an online help again because I have given it for online help. So I said I just come here and say that I want to say where is the company's HTM. I say that I want to come and say where is it. So you see that it goes to the TOC. So this way you can go to locate in TOC and locate in Explorer. So these are all based on the user interface. Now let me go quickly and give you a understanding about the next one is the style. The next one is the style sheet. What is I think you see the style sheet is this. So when you double click on style sheet, the style sheet editor opens. The style sheet has got two ways by which you can see. One is called the view advanced and the other one is called the simplified. So for those who are novice users, means that those who are new to this particular application, I would request you to go and view this particular file. So that's always happening here. So I would like to say that if in case this gives you a list of all the files available for you. For example, if you come to all sites and click on heading, it will only display the heading styles. So here, if you see this, you can come here, you can click on this, and then increase the font. If you just increase this particular 36, what will happen? The 36 will automatically be applied to your H1. That's one thing that all the Madcap Flare people who are using Madcap Flare should take it as a thumb rule that you have to make sure that you are choosing the right medium. So for right medium, the medium is default. Then you have medium mobile, print, tablet, and add new. Add new medium is if you have some other different screen size or you want to include a new device here, then you can come and use this. Okay. So what is the difference between this particular simplified view and advanced view? I'll come here and then click on this. Now if you see that H1, I can click on H1 and change the font size, everything. And similarly, I can also go and see how this particular style is impacting the various other mediums which I have. That's why it's called checkbox. If I have this checkbox here, you'll see that you'll say that it has opened here. Okay. Similarly, if I go and select another medium for me, then that particular medium is going to. So here, what you need to understand is, so when you go and select any font color here for this particular mobile, you see that I have given this color only for mobile, and I am not given anything for here. Nothing get derived from here. But if I come to the font family, and say that I want to use it for MetaPercept, you will see that font family getting derived across all the mediums that I have specified here. So that's why you have to know that it's always advantage for you to use style sheet in advanced mode. You can have multiple mediums and you can see how the inheritance actually takes place. And okay, so that's very important for you. And then you have to see you can also add class. So if you want to have H4 and then I want to have some other different H4 applied to a different content, but I don't want to override on H4, then I can create an additional class. So we call it as add selector. You also have CSS variable. You also have options where it says that you can bring an external style sheet inside. You can also manage a font set. You can also bring style sheet links. So when I say import style, so here if you see the project oriented, I had import style. Okay, so import style and I said add flare project import. Okay, when I did this, it brought me something. But similarly, I can also come here and say I want to import styles, but this is for style sheets. If I have around 50 styles in a particular style sheet in the parent project, I could very well go and say choose which are the style sheets that I want to bring in. For example, let me tell you, I'll just click on this particular import style sheet. You will see a dialog box where in the below you will see what are the style sheets that you want to bring in. Okay, what are the style sheets you want to bring in. Okay, Fine. Now this is, I think this is HT136. So they showed me the preview of this. I'll bring back to quite a reasonable one for 20 or something, so that this preview is looks quite good. So this is how style sheet works. It's a very good application from a most perspective. You have a lot to learn, and you will really love it. You can also go, even if you can just go and see what style sheets you want to see. What are the attributes that are associated to the particular style sheet. You can also come and see what properties you want to view. Okay, you can also bring some. These are certain options that you would select for your style sheets. Style sheets is very important. Okay, and now I'll show you the snippet variable and snippet conditions. Where will the snippet and snippet conditions come? Now, whenever you use a snippet variable or snippet condition, you will come inside. You will come inside a snippet variable. You will come here and go to that. Open the snippet file. You will come to snippet file. Now you come here and then you will insert a variable. Okay, insert a variable. So I've selected this. I'll come to snippet variable. Okay, I'll come here and say this. So this is a variable I've added here. So what variable I added is I've added called metapercept here. So I can come to another one, or I can say here I'll come here. So for more variables, it's going to show me this. Okay, now I can just come and say what is the product user guide. Product user guide. Now remember that product user guide has got 3 other definitions with that. Okay, so I'll tell you that again. And also I would like to provide some conditional snippet conditions. Let me finish up this. So I'll just go and save it. So if you see, I've got 2 variables which I've given in the snippet condition. Now we'll come to figure 1 where snippet condition, right? Then I'll come here and say, okay, now I've got the snippet inside this particular feature.1. This particular thing is snippet. I've given the metapercept as a variable, and here also I got a product user variable. Now what is going to print now when I'm going to do it from because I've got a snippet inside, so I've got to use a snippet variable and snippet condition, and these 2 things can be applied only in the project, only in the topic, not and then here if I come here to the snippet one, you will see that I've applied this. I applied here. Okay, so this is correct. So in case if I have one topic where I want to print for mobile for Samsung, and other one for iPhone, I'll create a table and then have different information as a snippet and apply all those snippet variables to it, and then also then give some conditions to it. Means like what I want to print as an output. So I'll come here to feature here. Now if you see here, now I'm going to right click on the snippet. This is a text file, right? But this is a snippet. So I'll click on write. But then I want to tell that, okay, this particular product output is going to be different for 3 different outputs. So how do I do that? I'll come here and then come here and say this is for snippet condition or snippet variable. Okay. In the snippet variable, I've got I've got 3 things which I've specified. One is a product user guide, the other one is a maintenance guide, and that's it. So I can just go to maintenance guide and say, okay, you have to see here it has changed. Okay, now I'm going to print this document to the maintenance guide as such. But the other one is like if I come here and say that I want a snippet variable, and this time I don't want this, but I want this to be for a reference guide. That's why I had said for a given user guide title, I can have multiple variable definitions. So now it is going to be different. Now it is going to be a reference guide. So if I have, where does this actually come as in case if I have some content which is similar in a requirement, but the data is different for two different mobile devices. I could probably use a snippet variable and snippet condition. Now what I'm going to do with this, I'll just go and say snippet condition, because uh, this is snippet condition on the top. Now I'm going to see this particular content which I'm seeing is only for mobile, or I could say I want it only for this. So and say include this. I'll just explicitly go and say include, and I'll just automatically exclude the other one, right? But still, even then I could go and say, okay, exclude this because it shows include. So when I click here, it shows include, go and exclude. I come here and say exclude, but this is going to be include. So it is going to be displayed only on the screen, okay. So if I come and generate the output if I come and generate a web output, okay, now I'm going to get this information in the online XML. So this is snippet. So earlier what I did is I just applied a condition, and then at the runtime I just said what I actually want. Okay, so one thing is I can just come to the double click on a target HTML file. I'll say this is only for screen and not for others. And then other one I'll say that, okay, this particular PDF file which I've got, okay, this is only for this is only for print output. So I can just say I can just say what needs to be printed or what not need to be printed. So I can really say this one for print. So one thing is I can just give a conditional text at the content level, or I can add a snippet inside the topic and give snippet condition and snippet variable and get different outputs at the runtime. But you can also have variables and multiple variable definition. Here I just want to talk about a few things what you see in the workspace. One is called the structure bar. This particular structure bar says that the first one is a HTML file and this is a body. Then this particular one H1 is going to be this particular one, and then it's a paragraph, and this is going to be a Madcap snippet variable. So you are very clear about looking at the structure. The structure is very important. Okay, so this has been patented by Madcap Flare, so you can very well understand where your structure is, where your content is, under which particular element it is there. Paragraph element, H1 tags or body tags and things like that. So here in the below, if you see there are a few things here. You can just click on that. If you click on that, what happens is it hide block structured bars. When I click on this again, it comes back again. Now here it hides span structure. So if you see here, there is something called a text markup. Okay, when is it useful is when I come here, double click and go back to style. And in case if I see there is some emphasis, see I've got some emphasis. Okay, now I get this particular tag here. Okay, so Madcap conditional text and then Madcap keyboard, and then it says emphasis. Okay, so if I click elsewhere, it is not bold, but when I come here, it becomes a bold. That is span tag. Okay, which means I'm applying a character level formatting inside a particular paragraph. Similarly, on the top, if you see, you got this particular preview of this particular output without actually building. You can come to layout web. You can choose the right medium when you have. Okay, see which is default. Then page layout. So you have to also know which page layout you are using. Currently, we have not used associated any page layout to any topic. So therefore, it is not highlighted. Then you have all these symbols, which is called insert cross reference. Then you can say insert image, and you got this particular thing which says that okay, these are short tags. You can just show the snippet conditions. So I've got some snippet. If I just select this, the snippet condition should go away. I've not applied now still. Okay, the conditions is there. Then also if the image is big, if I have some images in my document and they are very big, so probably I can just choose this thumbnails, and so the aspect ratio of the image can be smaller when compared to the real size of that image. Okay, these are very much. I can have a marker width. If I see that the marker width is very small and it's very difficult to read, You can go on the change the market with this. These are something called the markers. Okay, you have this. And then what I'd like to say next is side screen is okay, report is there, PDF is there. So those who are using this for the first time, template file, template page is nothing but a master page. Okay, so when I can come here and say resource, I can come to resources, then I can say new. See, there's something called page layout. Okay, the page layout is for print documents, and then if I come here and say template page, the template is for the online help, where I'll just give you a small. We'll just see what happens. Let me just close this and click on the template page itself. Okay, so if I come to the table style here, you'll see that I've got all, not table style, I just want to come to, so I selected the template page, and this is the proxy that is available for you in the template page. This will be for online help. If I want to add more proxy, I can come to the insert proxy, select this proxy and choose whichever proxy I want in this. Okay, the knowledge proxy, and you can use this proxy so that you can get the output accordingly based on the number of proxies you have added. Now the final question is Madcap Flare application a data authoring tool, or it is just a myth? It's just a myth because it is based on topic based authoring, but it has got a structure of it as any other application like Microsoft Word or InDesign and things like that. But they are not validated. It doesn't have an associated rules to it. It doesn't have anything where an element is used and the element has got certain style attributes about the particular text associated with it. So it's just a topic. There's nothing, there's no rule enforced on this particular document. You don't have any schema definition file, or you don't have anything that your element is evaluated, and based on that element in the current particular position, associated elements are displayed for you. There's nothing like that. You can have as many tags as possible, and you can structure your document. There's no validation as such. So it is just a myth. So conclusion is Madcap Flare is a powerful tool for technical writing, providing robust features for topic-based content creation, mastering its functionality, and enables efficient content development and multi-channel publishing. So every tool that you use has got its own potential. It has got its own brand loyalty in the market, and they have also are trying to use more of a topic-based authoring so that the content could be managed and could be referenced in n number of topics, so that the reusability is the key. Okay. So I come to the end of this topic, and for more information, contact training@metapercept.com. Thank you so much.